Welcome back to Medicare Unscripted. I'm Kalei Trbovich, Director of Medicare Operations at SecureMoneyHealth. On this podcast, I break down real Medicare situations, common mistakes, and what you actually need to understand so you can make confident decisions about your healthcare coverage. So let's get into it. Let's start with a real-life scenario to put this into perspective. Imagine you're driving across the country. You've mapped your route carefully, everything is planned, and halfway through the trip, you hit construction. Road closed. But your GPS didn't warn you. Now you're rerouted, you're stressed, you're behind schedule, and you're trying to figure out how to get back on track. That situation, that's exactly what happens when someone enrolls in a Medicare Advantage plan without fully understanding the provider network. Everything looks fine in the beginning. The plan looks good, the benefits look good, the cost is nice, but then you need care, and suddenly you find out your doctor isn't in the network. Or you're traveling and your coverage doesn't work the way you thought it did. And now you're rerouting in real time. So let's break down what that actually means when it comes to Medicare. When you choose a Medicare Advantage plan, you're not just choosing coverage, you're choosing a network. And that's where a lot of people get tripped up. So there are two main types of plans that most people see in the Advantage side. You have HMO plans and PPO plans. Your HMO plans are more restrictive. They typically require you to stay within a specific network of doctors and hospitals. You usually need referrals to see specialists, and if you go outside of the network, in most cases, it's not covered. On the other hand, PPOs offer more flexibility. You can go outside of the network, but it does usually come at a higher cost. Now, let's talk about something people don't think enough about: travel. So if you're someone who travels frequently, lives in multiple states, or is what we call a snowbird and spends part of the year somewhere like Florida, your network matters even more. Because Medicare Advantage plans are regional. They are built around local provider networks. So while emergency care is covered anywhere, routine care is not. And that's a huge distinction. Urgent care and emergency care are treated differently than routine visits. So yes, if something happens seriously when you're traveling, you're covered. But if you need ongoing care, follow-ups, or want to see a specialist outside of your network, that's where the problems can start. Plus, there are things to consider like referrals, prior authorizations, and network participation. All of these are part of how the plan actually operates. Medicare Advantage can be a great fit for a lot of people, but only if the network fits your lifestyle. So let's do a quick round of myth or mistake where I look at quotes or questions to share with you on whether it is a myth or mistake. So here it is. Medicare Advantage plans work nationwide just like Original Medicare. That is a mistake. Original Medicare is accepted nationwide. You can go to any provider that accepts Medicare. However, if you're on a Medicare Advantage plan, they work differently. As again, they are network-based, which means where you go and how you receive care depends on the structure of your specific plan. Now, let's talk about why this is becoming even more important. We're seeing more carriers tighten their networks, and we're also seeing an increase in prior authorization requirements, which means even if something is covered, it still may need approval before you actually receive it. At the same time, more people are traveling, relocating, or splitting time between multiple states. So now you have a situation where people's lifestyles are becoming more flexible, but their healthcare networks are becoming more structured. And that mismatch is where issues happen. Planning ahead is no longer optional, it's necessary. And this ties directly into a question I get all the time. It's, I spend my winters in Florida. Will my Medicare Advantage plan work there? And the answer is, it depends. It depends on the type of plan you have, the network attached to that plan, and whether providers in that area participate. This is not something you want to guess on. This is something that needs to be verified before enrollment, because once you're in the plan, you're working within that network for the next year. So what's the takeaway here? Let's go back to the GPS scenario. The issue wasn't that the road was closed. The issue was that you didn't know it was coming. And that's what happens with Medicare Advantage plans. People don't realize the limitations until they're already in the situation. So here's the preventable problem for this week: enrolling in a plan without fully understanding how the network works. Before you enroll, ask, what does the network look like? How does this plan work if I travel? Do I need referrals? Are my doctors in network? And most importantly, does this plan actually fit my lifestyle? Because you don't want to find out about the detours when you're already on the road. We know Medicare can feel complicated, but it doesn't have to be. And you can always go to SecureMoneyHealth.com for more information. I'll see you next time on Medicare Unscripted.